So it would probably be most effective if, in talking about this week, we invited our wives to come and talk. But we didn't do that.
That would have been better. You're
It,
right.
it would have been, but we didn't. So we'll do our best. We think about men who have shipwrecked or lost their ministries because of a failure in their relationship with their wives. This can spiral out of control in a number of different ways. But this is a significant area we would want to bring a warning, especially to young guys in ministry. What would you say to them about their marriage relationship?
This is probably a good time to acknowledge just because you write a book on the pastor's family doesn't mean you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And a lot of that was just, out of the experiences of ministry and the family. My wife, obviously in those early years, it was really tough, but we were a team and we were together, and we were able to walk through that together. I certainly didn't do that perfectly and learned a lot. But honestly, where our family kind of imploded is when the years of me not being aware of my wife's needs, just the slow accumulation of that over a decade of hard ministry, it just kind of blew up. And we ended up in a really tough place in our marriage, to where we got outside counseling help that we needed somebody to help us with. We spent years in counseling. I had allowed my ministry to become my identity in a way that then I missed the needs of my wife for a long period of time. And the important thing to also highlight with this is that in the midst of discovering this, and even being confronted about it by a counselor that was helping us, which I did not respond well to at first, I realized I was seeing my wife as a burden to the ministry I was trying to go do, because she was trying to get me to stop doing so much. And the kind providence of God used her, of all people, to show me that ministry had become an idol in my life. And so when I tell them the story of our family and what happened, that God has brought a redemption through it, I would say I saw my wife as a burden, but she actually, in the midst of all that, showed to actually be the blessing that God used to reveal this to me and change the things that we needed to change.
Yeah.
It's an abbreviated version of a longer story with my
Sure.
wife, though.
Yeah.
How about your own marriage and the ministry
Sure.
effects of that?
Say a couple of things. One is the grace of God in giving my wife and I several years before we had children, and we struggled a bit with infertility, which is a different story. But in the midst of that, about the first 7 years of our marriage, it was just the two of us, and that was a grace. The friendship that we enjoyed in that time, and even the struggle, to want to have children and not, and to get that time together to really invest in that relationship, which continues to be a blessing to us today. But to your point about our wives being sometimes the word of confrontation, they can see sometimes more clearly. I'll never forget, just real quickly, story. I was on seminary campus, and I was getting ready to graduate with my doctorate degree, and so kind of the pinnacle of academic achievement in my life. And I was about to have lunch and celebrate, and my wife just took the moment to remind me that nothing I'll ever say will ever really be important unless it's something that God is saying. So she took that opportunity to say, there's nothing special about you. It's only God's work in you. And, it's a powerful reminder. And that's the way they can speak into our lives because of that, the closeness of our relationship, the amount of trust. And also they can see things in us where spiritual pride may want to well up.
Yeah.
It's a great moment of confrontation.
That definitely, and I can't reiterate this enough, the best pastor's wife is the wife that's very supportive and very unimpressed.
That's exactly right.
And that's what you just articulated.
That's right.
And the reason I know that's such a blessing is because I have a wife that's very supportive and incredibly unimpressed
That's right.
with me. We couldn't even get them here to do the video part with us, right? So we have to speak on their behalf.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But I think that's the key, is realizing that the wife of a pastor knows him better than anybody else.
That's right.
And so the big mistake I made is doubting what my wife was saying to me because nobody else was saying it to me.
Yeah.
And what God ended up showing me is that's actually where you really perk up and listen to your wife.
Mm-hmm.
Not the other way, not assume, well, because that was the running joke. Like, my elders and my friends aren't telling me this. You're saying that, so
Right.
clearly you're wrong.
Right.
And the way I needed to see it, well,
Sure.
actually you see something they don't.
That's right.
And if a pastor can grasp the fact that his wife sees things nobody else sees,
Mm-hmm.
and she's going
That's right.
to listen and hear her,
Mm-hmm.
is going to make a big difference, not just in
Mhm.
marriage, but in your ministry that you do.
Yeah, I mean, our responsibility to lead in our homes is not eliminated by that. It's not deleted just because we lean into the wisdom that God might bring to us through our wives. And so, yeah, powerful instrument for sure.